आज हामी बिसिए फोर्थ सेमेस्टरको लास्ट मोमेन्ट बिफोर एक्जाम प्रिपरेसन भन्ने हेर्नेछौँ। न्युमेरिकल मेथड रहेको छ अपरेटिङ सिस्टम नोट एमसिक्यू सेट आई टु सेट भी विथ एन्सर सिट हामी आज हेर्छौँ। अपरेटिङ सिस्टमको नोटहरू हेर्छौँ। सुरुमा यसलाई म स्क्रिनलाई एक्सटेन्ड गरिदिन्छु। Bachelor in Computer Application, the controller is a collection of electronics that can operate port or bus and or a device. The hardware mechanism that allows a device to notify the CPU is called interrupt regulator. What is used to protect the network from outside internet access regulator? C number ma firewall to separate the trusted and untrusted network regulator. How do the virus avoid the basic pattern match of antivirus रहेको छ to modify themselves रहेको छ. What will happen in the two level directory structure रहेको छ. It user has either on file directory रहेको छ. In maximum size partition, the degree of multi-programming is bounded by the number of partition रहेको छ. The solution to the problem of external fragmentation is compaction and the regular weight condition can be prevented by रहेको छ defining a linear ordering of resource types रहेको छ. Which of the following is the deadlock avoidance algorithm, bankers algorithm रहेको छ. What is the drawbacks of the bankers algorithm? In advanced forces rarely knew how much resources they would need. The number of forces change as the time progress. Resources once available can disappear. All of the mentioned रहेको रहेछ. त्यसै गरी मोडल सेट डबल आई the CPU hardware has a right called interrupt request line that the CPU sends after executing the every instruction. This is at the data structure used for the file directory is called the hash table भन्छ यसलाई. And in disrupted system, what will be the transaction coordinator do? Start the execution of transaction यो पनि होइन, break the transaction into the number of sub transaction यो पनि होइन, coordinate the termination of the transaction यो पनि होइन, all of the mentions. What is not an important part of in security protection? Large amount of RAM to support the antivirus. What will happen to the single level directory? All the file must have the unique name. And external fragmentation will not occur when first fit is used, best fit is used, worst fit is used. No matter which algorithm is used, it will always occur. For an effective operating system, when to check for a deadlock for every time a resource request is made, except at a fixed interval of time. Every time a resource request is made at the fixed time interval, to avoid the deadlock, there must be the fixed number of resources to allocate it. The request of the release and the resources are system calls. For a deadlock to arise, which one of the following condition must hold simultaneously, all of the mentioned. And model set 3, which types of collection method each file occupied set continuous block on the disk, continuous allocation. The DMA transfers are performed by the control circuit as a DMA controller. In a distributed system, a logical clock is associated with each process for a proper synchronization in the distributed system, prevention from the deadlock and starvation. Greater for direct file access, there are no restriction on order of the reading and writing. A hash table in which type of allocation method is type of file occupy a set of continuous block on the disk. Continuous allocation deadlock prevention is the set of method to ensure that the at least one of the necessary condition cannot hold. Environment in which the program of the computer system are executed is called operating system. Then set IV. After the completion of the DMA transfer, the processor is notified by acknowledge signal. Interrupt signal is right answer. Which is the inter-process communication? यसमा चाहिँ यहाँ देखाउँदै देखाएन answer. And the controller use input buffering stress to help with the transfer when handling the network interface. It is the same for value is negative. Its magnitude is the number of the forces waiting to that the semaphore. An IO bound program will typically have many over very short circuit burst, short CPU burst. The switching of the CPU from one processor or a thread to another is called all of the mentioned. The layered approach of an operating system bottom layer is the interface. A higher level N is the user interface. Bottom layer N is the hardware. The kernel is the user of thread unaware of system resources. A computer system can be utilized better in single program environment, dual program, core environment, multi-program environment. सेट भइरहेको रहेछ which of the system calls return the process identifier of the terminated child wait रहेको रहेछ semaphore is an two sole critical selection program integer variable रहेको रहेछ because of the kernel thread management is done by an operating system itself. Right answer चाहिँ kernel thread are slower to create than the user thread रहेको रहेछ. If the kernel thread performs a blocking system calls, the kernel can schedule another thread in the application for the execution. Interface of the operating system provide optimization, designing, reusability, portability. यसको पनि छैन. Environment for the execution of the program is provided by operating system. Which what is true about the memory management? अल अफ द एबोभ रहेको रहेछ यहाँ अप्सनहरू पनि पढौँ मेमोरी म्यानेजमेन्ट किप ट्र्याक्स अफ इच एन्ड एभ्री memory location is decides which process will get memory at what time. It track whenever the symmetry get freed and allocated and corresponding it update the status. The set of all the physical address corresponding to this logical address is referred to as a physical address space. Swapping is also known as the technique for the memory compaction. There are two types of fragmentation to memory set VI input buffer storage. The capability of the system to adopt the increased service load is called scalability. Internet provide telnet for remote logging. When an entire committed transaction is completed, it is removed from the log file. The system does not crash due to the system can allocate resources to its process in order and still avoid the deadlock. All of the mentioned no deadlock. The system can allocate resources to each process in some order and still avoid the deadlock. Model set VII, the set of track that are one arm position making up a cylinder. The time taken to move the disk arm to a desired cylinder is called seek time. A network operating system runs on a server. Which routing technique is used in the distributed system? All of the mentioned. In the distributed system, link in the site failure is detected by unshaking. File type can be represented by file extension. Attaching the portion into the system file committed. A bootstrap program executing a sexual operation called the system call. Model set VII. Why is the one-time password save? It is different for every access. What happens when the first authorization or the authorization it is the unique tag usually a number identify the file within the file system file identifier to create a file, allocate the space in the file system and make an entry for a new file in the directory. The set of track data on the arm position make of a cylinder. The time taken to move the disk arm to the desired cylinder is called seek time. Operating system maintenance the page table for each process. In the continuous memory location, each process is contained in a single continuous selection of the memory. What type of fragmentation memory block assigned to process is bigger? Some portion of the memory is left unused as it cannot be used. Why another process? Internal fragmentation. X is the memory management technique in which the process address space is broken into the block of the same size. Fragmentation, framing, tagging, address translation. Set IX. What does the antivirus of today identify viruses previously known pattern? What are the safe commuting practice? None of the software program from the unknown vendor. The OS maintains PCBS in process scheduling queue. What the suspense process is moved to the secondary storage. Swapping. Which of the following information is stored when the process is switched? All of the above. If the disk held is located initially 32, find the number of disk moves required with the FCFS. If the disk queue IO0 block requests are 98, 37, 14, 1 to 4, 35, 37, 3 to 1, group A. यो चाहिँ लास्ट क्वेसन है छ द एसेस अफ द सर्भिस अफ अपरेटिङ सिस्टम द इन्टरफेस इज प्रोभाइडेड बाई सिस्टम कल्स bootstrap program PCB Which of the following is not a state of the process old? Which process can be affected by the other process executing in the system cooperating process? Which of the several processes the same data concurrently and the outcome of the execution race condition? Which of the following is the synchronization tool semaphore? Which high priority task is indirectly represented by the medium priority task, effectively inverting the relative priority of the two tasks? The scenario is called the priority invention. And which of the following do not belongs to the queues for the process PCB queue? Which modules gives the control of the CPU to the process selected by the short-term schedule dispatcher? The interval from the time of the submission of the process of the time of the completion is termed as turnaround time. Okay, आजको हाम्रो स्क्रिप्टिङ ल्याङ्ग्वेजको अपरेटिङ सिस्टमको कुराहरू पढेको छ। सरी स्क्रिप्टिङ ल्याङ्ग्वेज भन्न आएछ अपरेटिङ सिस्टमको। अब मैले छिटो पढेँ, मैले बुझ्नको लागि पढेँ, विजय साई जस्तो तरिकाले है। त्यही नै हो आजको लागि।